Hello brothers and sisters, welcome back again to my channel. Today I'm working on different questions related to jazz and remote sensing. These questions are helpful for those of you who are preparing for the upcoming exit exam in the university. The questions are highly related to remote sensing, and this is a continuous episode from the past. Let's get started. Before we go to deep dive into the question, I would like to remind you to subscribe my YouTube channel. Please share, subscribe, and comment. The first question is related to the basic concepts of remote sensing. The question says that what is remote sensing? A. The process of collecting data about object or area from distance. This option is absolutely correct. B. The process of collecting data about object or area in close proximity. These statements have a little bit truth, but we are expected to compare and contrast with the available options. C. The process of collecting data about object or area using physical contact. This is absolutely wrong. D. All of the above. Let me give you a brief explanation about remote sensing. Remote sensing is a combination of two words, remote and sensing. Remote means distance or far apart from the object, and sensing is gathering or collecting information about the object which is far away from the sensor. So remote sensing by definition is a collection of different data sets or spatial data set without actual contact with an object. So from the available option, the answer for this question is A. Let's go to question number 2. Which of the following is not energy source used in remote sensing? A. Electromagnetic radiation. B. Acoustic wave. C. Thermal radiation. D. Current wave. The question is highly related to sources of energy. As you know, remote sensing uses two types of energy, and we have two types of sensor. The active sensor have their own source of energy, and the passive sensor have not their own energy and highly dependent with external sources. So, from the available options, which is not energy source that is mainly used in remote sensing? Electromagnetic radiation is 100% useful energy source for remote sensing because all passive sensors are highly dependent on the incoming radiation from the sun. So A is correct. B. Acoustic wave or sonar wave is very interesting, and this is also one of the critical element of energy that is used in remote sensing. Acoustic wave is a sonar wave. It is sound related wave. C. Thermal radiation is also the component of incoming solar radiation. D. Current wave. Current wave means the wave which is occurred within water bodies, which is occurred mainly due to the gravitational pull of the Earth and Moon. So the current wave is not a source of energy that applied for remote sensing purpose. Question number 3. What is the primary energy source used in passive remote sensing? As I have mentioned earlier, we have two types of sensors, the passive sensor and active sensor. Passive sensors are highly dependent on external sources like the electromagnetic radiation generated from the sun, whereas the active sensors are sensors, they have their own source of energy and they release their beam to the target and collect reflective values. So the question is mainly focused on passive remote sensing, and what are the primary energy source for passive remote sensing is solar energy. Artificial light is not the source, radio wave and microwave. So solar radiation is the primary source. Question number 4. What is the difference between active and passive remote sensing? Active remote sensing uses its own energy source, yes, while passive remote sensing relies on external source of energy. This statement is absolutely correct. The passive remote sensing uses its own energy source, while active remote sensing relies on external source of energy. This is a reciprocal of option A, so this is automatically wrong. C, there is no difference between active and passive remote sensing. False. D, none of the above. So the answer is A. Active sensor, active remote sensing uses its own source of energy, and passive sensor are highly dependent on external sources. So the answer is question number 5. Which energy source is used in thermal remote sensing? As you know, thermal remote sensing is helpful to measure the land surface temperature and other parameters on their surface, and thermal remote sensing is highly dependent on infrared radiation. So the answer is B, infrared. Ultraviolet ray, gamma ray, both are the short wavelength ray, and visible light spectrum of the VVGR are also the optical remote sensing. So the answer is B. Question number 6. Which of the following is not a benefit of remote sensing? From the available option, which one of the following is not the benefit of remote sensing? A. It can collect data from dangerous or inaccessible area. This is a benefit. B. It can be used to detect change over time. Yes, this is also the benefit or the significance of remote sensing. C. It can be used to provide real-time communication. This is not the benefit of remote sensing. Real-time communication is related to telecommunication instead of remote sensing. So from the available option, not benefit is real-time communication. So the answer is simply C. So this is the answer. Let's go to the next question. 7. Which of the following is not a type of electromagnetic radiation? A. X-ray. B. Sound wave. C. Radio wave. D. Visible spectrum. Electromagnetic spectrum is the spectrum which is generated from the sun to the earth. So sound wave is not electromagnetic radiation. So the answer is B. Question number 8. Which type of electromagnetic radiation has the longest wavelengths? From the 4 available choices, which one have longest wavelengths? As you know, wavelengths and frequency have inversely proportional. So the gamma ray have short wavelengths, X-ray have short wavelengths, radio wave have long wavelengths, visible spectrum have relatively medium wavelengths. So the longest wavelengths from the available option is radio wave. So this is the answer. Question number 9. What is the relationship between wavelengths and frequency? Let me give you a diagrammatic or sketch explanation. For instance, this is the wavelengths. First of all, let me take the option A. They are inversely proportional. B. They are directly proportional. C. There is no relationship between them. And the final option D is all of the above. So they have inversely proportional. The answer is this. If the wavelength of incoming solar radiation is longer, the frequency is minimum. Where question number 10. What type of electromagnetic radiation is used in remote sensing to produce image of their surface? A. Gamma ray. B. ultraviolet radiation, C. Visible light, D. Infrared. From the available four options, gamma ray and ultraviolet ray is very short wavelength ray, and they are absorbed by ozone layer, and they have not a probability to reach to the ground. So our option is narrowed down to option C and D, visible light and infrared. From the two available options, we need to compare and contrast the two. On the basis of that, I would like to prefer a thermal infrared or infrared. As you know, mainly the thermal infrared radiation, particularly thermal infrared, is crucial in remote sensing because it is emitted by all objects based on their temperature. This allows for the creation of thermal maps on their surface, which are invaluable for studying like surface temperature variation, vegetation health, like stress plant often emitted more heat, volcanic activities, urban heat, and water body temperature. All this are very crucial for remote sensing. So from the available option, I would like to select infrared. So the answer is D. Which of the following is not a unit to measure wavelengths? So wavelength is measured in terms of meter, in terms of nanometer and micrometer. 10 to the power of minus 6 and 10 to the power of 9, the nanometer and micrometer. To the reverse, the frequency is measured within hertz. So the question is not. So the answer is B. Question number 12. Which type of electromagnetic radiation has the highest frequency? The higher the frequency, the wavelength is shorter. I have told you in the previous question. So frequency and the wavelengths have inverse relationship. So the highest frequency from the available four options, the gamma ray have the higher frequency and the wavelength is short. X-ray have the higher frequency. The radio wave have the frequency is very low, and microwave is also very low frequency. So we have the two options, the gamma ray and X-ray have higher frequency, but we need to compare and contrast the two. So from the available gamma ray and X-ray, the highest frequency is with gamma ray. So the answer is gamma ray, then next X-ray, then ultraviolet ray. Question number 13. Which of the following is not a benefit using different wavelengths of electromagnetic radiation in remote sensing? A. It allows for better penetration through the atmosphere. B. It allows for detecting of different features on the surface. C. It makes remote sensing equipment more expensive and difficult to use. D. It has no purpose at all. Okay, from the available option, the answer is D. Let me explain. The question is not the benefit of using different wavelengths of electromagnetic radiation in remote sensing. If we use different electromagnetic radiation from short wavelength ray to long wavelength ray, there is the probability to penetrate through the atmosphere. Option B, it allows for detecting and collecting various and different features on their surface. This is also correct. It is make remote sensing equipment more expensive and difficult to use. Yeah, if we use sophisticated and modern type of modern type of sensors, their cost is probably expensive and it is difficult to use. So the answer is D. Question number 40. Which type of electromagnetic radiation is most affected by relay scattering? Scattering is unpredictable diffusion of incoming solar radiation by different objects which is found in atmosphere. So there are three types of scattering. relay scattering, mass scattering, and the non-selective scattering. So relay scattering is occurred when the proportion of particles which is found in atmosphere is much smaller than the incoming solar radiation or electromagnetic radiation. So relay scattering is very common within visible. In visible spectrum, we commonly called the VBGOR, the violet, blue, indigo, blue, green, red, and indigo. So relay scattering is mainly occurred within visible light. So the answer is C. Okay, question number 15. Which type of scattering is most commonly responsible for the blue color of a sky? The answer is relay scattering, because the short wavelengths of the visible electromagnetic radiation, mainly the blue, is more scattered because of the dust particles which is found in atmosphere. Question number 16. Which of the following is not factors that affecting the amount of scattering that occurs in the atmosphere? A. The wavelengths of electromagnetic radiation. B. The altitude of the observer. C. The concentration and size of particles in atmosphere. D. All of the above. So the answer is the altitude of the observer. This is not related to the magnitude or the amount of scattering in the atmosphere. Question number 17. What type of scattering is most commonly responsible for red, orange, and pink colors during sunrise and sunset? During sunrise and sunset, the sky becomes red. Sometimes it looks like orange and pink. This is because of the scattering of relay scattering. Question number 18. What is the primary difference between relay scattering and mass scattering? A. Relay scattering occurs when particles are much larger than the wavelengths of the electromagnetic radiation, while mass scattering occurs when particles are about the same size as the wavelengths. This statement is correct. The mass scattering occurs when particles are about the same as the wavelengths. This is true, but relay scattering occurs when particles are much smaller than, not larger than. This larger should be smaller to be a statement is correct. So this statement is incorrect. B. Relay scattering occurs when particles are about the same size as the wavelengths of the electromagnetic radiation, while mass scattering occurs when particles are much larger. This is also incorrect. C. There is no difference between relay scattering and mass scattering. This is incorrect. So the answer is none of the above. So this is the answer. Question number 19. What is the primary cause of non-selective scattering in atmosphere? Non-selective scattering is a scattering which occurs when the incoming solar radiation or electromagnetic energy is much smaller than the particles which is found on the atmosphere. So this non-selective scattering is mainly occurred when there is water droplets. So the answer is C, water droplets. What is the primary mechanism by which electromagnetic energy interact with an object on their surface? A. Absorption. B. Reflection. C. Transmission. D. Refraction. The answer is absorption. Then coming solar radiation from the sun come to the target, and the first one is there is absorption, and then there is reflection as well. So the answer is absorption. 21. Which of the following is not factors that affect the amount of reflection that occurs when electromagnetic radiation interact with an object? A. The angle of incidence. Yes. B. The wavelength of radiation. C. The temperature of an object. D. None of the above. So the temperature of an object have no relationship with the amount of reflection that occurs when electromagnetic radiation interact with the target object. Question number 22. Which type of reflection occurs when electromagnetic radiation bounces off and the object in a single direction? If electromagnetic radiation is coming from one direction and all the energy is reflected back within the same direction, this type of reflection is known as specular or mirror reflection. So the answer is B. Question number 23. Which type of reflection occurs when electromagnetic radiation bounces off an object in many different directions? If the incoming solar radiation to come to the ground and it is diffused in different direction, this type of reflection is known as diffused reflection. The surface is rough and the incoming solar radiation can be reflected back in different direction instead of this is the absolute reverse to the specular reflection. Question number 24. What is atmospheric window? Atmospheric window is a range of wavelengths of electromagnetic radiation that can pass through the Earth's atmosphere with little or no absorption. This is the correct statement. Atmospheric window is a transparent part of window that the incoming solar radiation passes through and go to the target object. Question number 25. What is visible spectrum? Visible spectrum is one of the portion of electromagnetic radiation from the sun. It is visible by our naked eye, and there is a behavior, the violet, blue, green, red, indigo, and the like. So this is easily detected by our human naked eye. The range of wavelengths of electromagnetic radiation that can be detected by human eye. This is the correct answer. 26. Which of the following is not color of visible light? A. Red. B. Blue. C. Ultraviolet. D. Green. The answer is UV ray or ultraviolet ray. Red, blue, and green are the visible color, and ultraviolet ray is short wavelength ray. What type of object appears white in visible light? If a certain object is white, an object that reflects all colors of visible light. So the answer is A. If all energy is absorbed, the color becomes dark. Last question. Which type of electromagnetic radiation have the lowest frequency? As I have mentioned and as I have clearly indicated, the lower frequency and the wavelengths have the indirect proportion. So from the available options, the lower frequency, gamma ray is short wavelengths and the frequency is high. X-ray is short wavelengths, so the frequency is very high. Red wave is the frequency is very low and the wavelength is very high, so the answer is red wave. This is all about today's session. If you have any question related to the GIS, remote sensing, and geography, don't hesitate to ask me. Please don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel and share for your friends and for your best. I wish all the best. I'll come back again with different questions. Have a good day.